Hey True Believers, Englentine here. So I haven't done one of these videos in a long time. This is in the same vein as a Marvel versus DC. If you're brand new to the channel, let me explain. I got almost every DC comic book that's been released in the last month. I've heard DC Comics is dead, Marvel Comics is dead. Okay, we're going to figure this out. So I started reading, and these are 40-second reviews, not in depth. I'm not going to be parsing any of the story to tell you what the writer and the artist is thinking. This is all visceral. This is, did I like it? Did I hate it? Why did I like it? Why did I hate it? Just get out there to find out, are there any good DC comic books? Now, this obviously is something I've fed into because of Brian Michael Bendis and his work on Superman. I'm not a big fan of it, and I've stated that out loud quite a bit. But are there any other books here that are good? I stayed away from the ones that I obviously knew I was going to hate, like the Vertigos and the Sandman. I've been very vocal about. The only one that's here is Female Furies, which I thought, okay, I could also use that as a bad comic book beatdown because that one is horrible. I gave everything its fair shot. I am a DC fan, so keep that in mind. You know, if you need to take this with a grain of salt because of that, I understand. But I tried to be very fair and very open-minded. If I like a book and it sucked this month, it got a bad grade. It got a bad review. So here's how it went. 1 stars are horrible. 2 stars are bad. 3 stars are average. 4 stars are good. And 5 stars are excellent. That's as simple as possible. Now, before we go on, don't forget to click like, share, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Also, if you don't mind helping out the channel, go on over to Ko-Fi and Patreon, drop $1, and the till helps keep making videos for you. The link is in the description below. And without further ado, as I've said before, let's get this party started. The 1-star books are horrible. These are the ones I recommend you avoid at all cost. Female Furies, number 3. So, this is an improvement over the first issue. This book sucks. There's nothing redeemable about this. It's written by the Me Too movement. It's horrible. My gosh, Granny Goodness holding Darkseid's head to her breast to calm him down, to mother him, was one of the most demeaning things to both Granny Goodness and to Darkseid. It is god-awful, this book. But thankfully, the art is horrible as well, so this is 100% crap. Dial H for Hero, number 1. Love this book. Well, no. I love the original Dial H for Hero. And then I liked I love the 1980s version and the 2000 version. This one sucked. Heck, the 1980s version is what got me into collecting comics, not just reading, but collecting. And this, it's not even the dial, it's a rotary phone. Hey, cool, you're hip. Big damn deal. So was I back in the 80s and 90s when we had to use the damn things. There's no nostalgia for rotary phones. Otherwise, the story's amateurish, the art is amateurish, it's paper thin, there's nothing to it, and it's a waste of money. The 2-star books are just merely bad. There may be a saving grace, something that keeps them from being horrible. The Wonder Twins, number 3. To be honest, I did not read issue number 2, so I am jumping in on this one issue down, I guess. That being said, I kind of praised the first issue. It's a little bit separated from the norm, from the normal continuity, so I was giving it a pass. I can't do that anymore. I'm sorry, but this was bad. This is just bad writing. I can forgive the cartoonish art. That's fine. That's just a style choice. But the writing is not even like subpar for kids. It just seems like it's a mess. It's all over the place. Young Justice number 4. Man, you want to talk about a book you don't jump in on? It's this one. It starts off on Amethyst World with endless exposition. Holy Toledo, just slow it down a touch. I don't mind characterization, but when you're doing an information dump for a couple of pages, look at this. It gets boring. Seriously. And then, of course, they want the chaos of having teenagers and young people talking, so they talk over them. They don't finish sentences. and in the end, it's a nonsensical story. Catwoman number 10. You know what? I like the art. It's fine. The writing. The stories have never really hooked me. I want to like Catwoman. I like Catwoman as a character. It's just not all that good. So it begins with an auction, and that seems okay. She steals something for Penguin. Penguin kind of dupes her into thinking she's getting away with something. That was kind of cool. But everything after that, it's just a slog. This was a hard book to get through. I wish it wasn't, but it was. I'm sorry, gang. If you're a Catwoman fan, awesome. I'm just not. Superman number 10. I have made no secret about how I feel about Brian Michael Bendis' Superman. So let me explain this. This book is a flashback story that tries to have tension about the character who's telling it. Yeah, it doesn't work that way. I'm sorry. There's, oh my gosh, what is going to happen to him? Is he going to be okay? We know everything that happens. Well, okay, we don't know how he got there, so if you're interested in the journey, fine. But it really does take the wind out of the sails. Heroes in Crisis number 7 is, just, okay, maybe I'm kind of dumb on this one, but the further this series goes, the less it seems to be trying to make sense or even caring. I don't know. Maybe this is one of those things here you have to read it as a trade paperback to get it. But month by month, I'm reading it and I'm finding I'm caring less about what's going on, if that's possible. It just seems to be random ideas thrown together and they say, hey, at the end of this is going to make sense. But as far as you're going month to month, you're on your own. The 3-star books are average. They either didn't resonate with me or they were good, but just not good enough to recommend. Suicide Squad Black Files, number 6. All right, so we've had a lot of stories end this month, and some of them were just top-notch. This one is not so much. Okay, there are 2 stories to this one. The Katana, where you have Cobra's lover switch bodies with Katana. This one was crap, and it ended crappily. On the other hand, the Faust book ended okay. I like this one. But then again, put Gentleman Ghost in a story, and I'm going to read this. I just dig the character. I think it's awesome. Overall, it just brings it out to be an average book. Not good, not bad. They made a comic book. Congratulations. Justice League Odyssey, number 7. Another story I'm coming right on in the middle of is actually not very much the middle. I've read up to like the last couple issues anyway. This is one of those books. It's thoroughly entertaining. It's a lot of fun. Very exciting book. It's just at a certain point, we've got Starfire doing things that she never could before, and they're like, oh my gosh, she could destroy the planet. And I was like, oh, really? Are we going to go with that again? Where you overpower a hero just to make them seem cool, dangerous, blah, 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 yada, yada. Can't you just write within the confines of what we know? And overall, that bothered me about the book, and it brought it down a little bit. If you're not bothered by that kind of thing, give this an extra star. Otherwise, I've got to go with my gut on this one. Titans, number 36. There's no way I can recommend this series, considering this is the last book. It actually says so on the cover. But the book itself, yeah, it's actually pretty good. I'm surprised at that because I have not been a fan of the Titans run recently. I don't know why. It just has never resonated with me, which is funny because it's Abnett, and I really enjoy Abnett's writing. It's just, I don't know. I don't see this as being the Teen Titans, or the Titans, excuse me, even though it has the major players. It's just too foreign to me. Wonder Woman, number 67. So, okay, once again, haven't read a couple of issues. I open up the book and, oh, there is Giganto working with Wonder Woman. This should be good. It should be anyway. As it stands, it's not offensive. It really isn't. But, my gosh, it's, things happen, but it's very, very, I don't know, it just feels like it just has no weight to it, which is something because sometimes I've been enjoying G. Willow Wilson's Wonder Woman. So this is the odd miss to me as far as the books that she's been writing. The Flash, number 67. I have to admit, I like the Trickster, but this book, while it isn't horrible, just didn't thrill me. I don't know what I was looking for out of it. Maybe, I don't know. So I'm sure some people like it better than I did. Of course, I'm sure some people liked it less than I did as well. I think part of the problem was the constant narration of it. I don't know. I don't know. I couldn't find the Flash's voice within it. I found a writer's voice instead, and that just made it fall flat for me. Not horrible, just not all that good. The Green Lantern, number 6. Okay, so this is one of those stories where you see the two heroes fighting, and oh my gosh, one of them gets killed, and it's so bad, and yeah, seen it before. I've seen it all, and it is exactly what you think it would be. It's a setup. They had planned on making it look like one of them gets killed. I won't say which. And then, of course, you know, they could double-cross the bad guys later, but this one has a twist of the good guy not really knowing what side they're on. Overall, it's an okay book. The Green Lantern has not yet thrilled me, and while this one was better than most, it still just doesn't do it. Action Comics 1009, so we have Lois Lane versus Amanda Waller in the Fortress of Solitude. Not a fight, but a battle of wills, and you kind of know who's going to win this one. I mean, she's in the fortress, right? That's just the way it's going to go, because no way Amanda Waller can push Lois Lane around if she's standing in Superman's fortress. That being said, there's also a lot of intrigue. There's a lot of suspicion going on here. I did like this book, which I'm kind of surprised at because Brian Michael Bendis. I liked the clash of personalities. Everything else, not so much a fan of, but these two going at it, good call. Justice League, number 20. Not the book you want to come late to the party on. Definitely, this is not a jumping on book. It took me a couple of reads to understand what was going on, and when I did, I was like, okay, it's fine. It's mostly a bunch of, hey, look at this. Isn't this beautiful? Hey, I think that's gorgeous. And look what we did here. All is good and all is well. Nothing suspicious going on, which is all set up, of course, for the next issue, I'm pretty sure, because even Batman was like, so then where's the villains? And, of course, we get to see the fact that there's going to be a Superman battle next week. Don't believe the cover on this one. But overall, like I said, it's fine. Aquaman number 46 is a bit of a conundrum. The same as Aquaman 42, 3, 4, and 5. Because it's an entertaining story. It just doesn't feel like an Aquaman story. You know, if this was the way I think Aquaman began even in the New 52, it would have been entertaining. It would have been interesting. We would have seen, okay, this is the new Aquaman. But he's not acting like he had in the last 41 issues of Rebirth, much less from what I've read of the New 52. And that's where the weirdness lies. I enjoy this. I want Aquaman back as well. Justice League Odyssey number 8. I have to tell you, this is a bit of a frustration thing. Are they trying to paint Darkseid as the good guy now? Now, he does say, well, I'm a cosmic entity, and I rise above your supervillain, superhero BS, yada, yada, blah, blah, blah. But seriously, they are sort of kind of painting the heroes as the bad guys and Darkseid as the good guy. And I can't get behind that. It's like, oh, pull the other one. Just hush. It's an exciting book. It's well drawn. It's not a bad book. It's just one of those where my eyes were rolling like a slot machine while I was reading it. They say never judge a book by a cover. Wonder Woman number 68. Inside is entertaining. It's fun. It's exciting. It has some good character moments between Wonder Woman and Giganta. Good. Then you get the cover. Now, are you going to tell me that I'll crush them all, she said. No bigger than Giganta, she said, is something that Wonder Woman would say of all things? Seriously? This is exactly what I'm talking about when I say the writer puts their own voice in the character rather than finding the voice of the character. Decent book, horrible cover. The Batman Who Laughs, number 4. So, kind of like Metal, this sort of lost me. Not that it's a bad book, it's just I'm not excited about it. I read it, I enjoy it, I put it down, I forget about it until the next issue comes out, and then I read that one, and I enjoy it, and then I put it down. This is very much like that. We do get an interesting fight between Batman and Alfred because he wants his visor and all that kind of stuff, but overall, it's an incredibly average book. Nothing very special about it. The 4-star books are legitimately good, and I am happy to recommend them to you. Detective Comics 1001, The Arkham Knight Rises. Okay, I know when I saw this, I thought about the game and everything, but in this one, someone's taking the whole Batman thing really literal, and it starts off with a whole bunch of dead bats and ends up with a bunch of knights attacking Batman and doing a pretty good job of taking him down as well. It's an exciting book. It's a lot of fun. I like whenever Batman and James Gordon work together. In this case, also, we get to see the Man-Bat. So, tons of fun. Shazam, number 4. So, anytime a new Shazam series is brought up, I always wonder, how are they going to fit in Taki Tani? And in this case, hey, here you go. An entire planet of anthropomorphic animals. Why not? Including the alligators, by the way, which some saw in the cameo in Shazam and recognized and went, oh, look, there they are. Let's have them fight. But they didn't in that movie. Here we get an interesting story, 2 sides. One group is caught in game land and one group is caught here in the wildlands. Thoroughly entertaining, this book so far. Adventures of the Super Sons, number 9. Reading this book will make you mad at what Brian Michael Bendis is doing with Superboy, just because he is robbing us of all of these stories. This is such a fun book. It's such a entertaining book. I still say John and Damian are just the freaking perfect dynamic duo these days. Obviously, the addition of the futuristic, robotic Jonah Hex makes it that much more fun, although it's a little odd if you are a fan of Western Jonah Hex to see him as the robot. I've never been a fan of the other versions, you know, the more mystical and that kind of thing. Overall, though, this is a series you should be getting, and this is an issue that is just completely entertaining. Detective Comics 1000. Now, getting past what I already think and I've already said about the whole Detective Comics 1000, I do believe that this is a strong collection of stories. Now, any anthology book is going to be uneven, and this one is. There are books or stories within it that are good. There are stories within it that are better. Thankfully, though, there are no stories in it that are bad. So as far as anthologies go, this is a strong one. I do think it was a mistake, however, to start with Scott Snyder's story, since it begins with a whole bunch of text. The Paul Dini would have been a lot more welcoming, I think. Overall, though, I do recommend it. Batman number 67, all the way down. I love the cover, by the way. This could have been one of those artist covers if they got rid of the writing and such like that. That would be really cool. Inside, on the other hand, we get a Batman versus Cacophony story. And I gotta tell you, I'm a big fan of good sequential art when we see it played out. A wordless comic book sometimes is very entertaining if it's done right, and this was done right. It just hit the spot, really. It didn't take a lot of time to read, that's for sure, but it definitely leaves an impact. I can recommend this one. The Flash, number 68. Now, this is more like it. Last issue, for 67, I said they couldn't find the Flash's voice. It seemed like I was reading a writer's voice, but for some reason, this seems like the Trickster. And this is the Trickster's book. Make no bones about that. The Flash is in it, for sure. But this is the Trickster's book, and you could tell that it's just so much more fun to write for him than it is to write for the Flash, and he just pops right off the page. A lot of fun. This is what we come to read comic books for. The Terrifics, number 14. So this is the end game. This is, man, good books, too. And this is a fun book. this particular issue, not the best issue to end on. It's a little bit final episode of Three's Company-ish. It gets a little saccharine towards the end. Otherwise, it's a straight-up action issue all the way through. But you do get character along with that, and you do get to know these characters one last time before they shut the door. Now, I do disagree with Rex's decision to go back to being Metamorpho after all this time trying to become human again, but still, it made for an interesting story. It's one of the best series that has been out for the last year, and I'm sad to see it go. Supergirl, number 29. Now, Supergirl under the pen of Mark Andreyko has been pretty fun. This has been getting better and better as it went. This issue, on the other hand, is a little bit weaker than last one's, but still a lot of fun. And a book that I can recommend pretty solidly. I'm not ashamed or afraid to say that this has definitely been on an incline. It's so much fun as Supergirl is trying to find out who is responsible for the destruction of Krypton. Yeah, check this one out. I have to admit, now, as I wasn't the biggest fan of Justice League number 20, Justice League number 21 really feels like that kind of epic story that should be a Justice League. Almost crossover quality. And yeah, I'm pretty sure something's going to come of this. You know, they do one every year, but it's just so intense. I'm digging this a lot. And yeah, we saw the setup. They're making the Justice League think, the bad guys are making the Justice League think things that aren't there and such like that. And this is where they're basically discovering the truth. So all hell should be breaking loose pretty quickly here. Red Hood Outlaw number 33. This is basically Jason Todd takes over the Iceberg Lounge from the Penguin. And of course the Penguin has a backup plan. So he sends a supervillain team to attack him. Of course Jason Todd has his own team. And they fight in the Iceberg Lounge. And that's basically the entire issue. It really is. It's a fun issue, don't get me wrong, but the team I want to see with Jason Todd are the Outlaws. Batman Beyond, number 30. I have to admit, sometimes I feel a little detached from Batman Beyond. I like the cartoon, but the comic books have never grabbed me until this whole storyline with the Joker. It's been very intense, very exciting. The scenes with Robin trying to deal with him being traumatized by his experience with the Joker is incredible. I like the addition of Dick Grayson, and I like the fact that he's speaking out against putting costumes on kids and having them go fight crime. That's the main part of this story. That's the meat and potatoes of the entire thing, and it's the driving force. It really is. It's just such a great conversation to have that we should have had so many times in the regular Bat books. So far, Batman Beyond, recently I should say, has just been one to pick up. Freedom Fighters, number 4. Man, I like this book. I like the series. But then again, I'm kind of a patriot, so if you have Uncle Sam bursting out of the grave, dusting off his shoulders and saying, "There's a storm brewing," yeah, that gets that gets the blood pumping right there. This is absolutely a patriotic comic book. If you're like one of those anti-patriot types that are like, "Oh, America's the worst of all," then you're not going to like this book. If you are like me where you love the country you live in, this is going to rev you up. Batgirl number 33. It is a time we live in when Batman and Superman are losing respect with every issue, and Batgirl and Supergirl just keep getting better and better. The story with Batgirl's brother here being a serial killer has been intense. It's been just, it's a page turner. What else can you call it? It's something you should be reading. This is definitely a character piece. We have Barbara really worrying about the fact that she knows her brother's a killer. She stopped him. He's been violent towards everybody she knows. And now he's supposedly out because he took a drug, it cured him, yada, yada, yada. And she doesn't believe it. And she's struggling with this. So, once again, really great character piece. Batgirl is on the rise, in my opinion. Damage number 15. So Batman put him on Monster Rock. He's there to survive. And it just so happens he's got 23 hours before he could turn into damage. And there's a lot of monsters on this particular rock that wants to kill him. I love this book. It is so entertaining. It really is. And can we have more Congo Bill if these going to be written like this, please? This is such a treat. It really is. It's just one of those books where you read it and you just have fun all the way throughout. Even though there's not a lot of superheroics. Actually, no, there really isn't. This is an adventure story. And it is cool. For as much as I do not like Brian Michael Bendis and especially what he's doing over in Superman, I have to admit, occasionally a nugget of goodness comes out. And at one point in time, it was the United States versus Murder Inc. or something like that. And this time it's Naomi. Naomi is just so far a wonderful series. Takes me back to when I first discovered comic books and what made me like comic books. Now, it may just be he came up with a story and someone else is writing. I don't know. But this is definitely a book I recommend you check out. In this case, it's not even about her. It's about the people who surround her, and it still manages to be intriguing. We want to know these characters, whether it's her or her father or the guy who runs the garage. The Silencer, number 15. Every time I read one of these books, I think back on how much I did not like it when it first came out. Now it's like, holy Toledo, every issue seems to be gold, and this is no different. It really isn't. She's sent in to kill a whole bunch of genetic mutations, much like herself. They were in the same experiment. They just went wrong, and she comes across this one named Smoke, who isn't all that wrong and decides to use her powers because she wants to stay alive. It's a very exciting book, and one of the best things about The Silencer is all the character comes out even during the action. Definitely one to pick up, this issue and the book itself. Deathstroke number 42. I've said that I don't like overpowered Deathstroke. He can't take a punch from Superman. Come on, let's not be ridiculous. And yes, I know about his suit. That being said, being captured by Robin, okay, fine. That's one thing. Being captured by the Teen Titans anyway. Holding him, that's another. And I appreciate the way he gets out and then taunts the Teen Titans, especially Robin. So this is just a really good next chapter to the story. And it really does lay down the groundworks on what's going to be, I don't know. It's going to be a really good standoff. I'm looking forward to the rest of this story. Teen Titans number 28. I've been enjoying this book since the new team came about. I like them all. I know some don't like the Lobo's daughter or what's his name, the bouncy guy. I can't remember right now. But for me, this is a great team. And so far, this story is on point. I am not a fan of the overpowered Deathstroke, so to watch him being brought down by a team who works as a team is a lot of fun. So far, the story's setting up to be exciting. It's an interesting one. And as much as I like Damian with John Kenton and Super Sons, I like to see him brought down in other books. So, good times. And the 5-star books are excellent. They may not be Watchmen quality, but they sure do get the job done. Hawkman number 11. Dude, this is like a culmination of almost everything that's gone on for the past 10 issues. And we're not just getting a battle of Hawkman versus his villain. We're getting a battle of all the Hawkmen that we've seen as he's been going around discovering his past lives. It's intense, and if you're a Hawkman fan, dude, this is the book you want to get. Seriously. Of course, I would say get the previous 3 chapters as well, but definitely this is the book you want to get. Scooby Apocalypse, number 36, the final issue. So obviously, I cannot recommend this book if you're not already reading the series. Not because it's not good. It's excellent. If you are a fan of the series, this closes it up perfectly. This is a very satisfying ending. It ties up all the loose ends. Everything we saw before is answered. And it does it in an exciting and, in some points, scary manner. This is an excellent Scooby-Doo story. It works on every level, as well as leaving just enough open if they want to return. And there you go, gang. That's a month's worth of DC Comics for me. Wow, holy Toledo. So were there books you thought I was lenient on or too harsh on? I think there are plenty of good books from DC. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Once again, I will be doing a Marvel comics as well, so keep an eye out for that. Don't forget to click like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell. And if you don't mind helping out the channel, go on over to Ko-Fi or to, I was about to say VidMe. Not VidMe, but Patreon. And drop $1 in the till. Helps keep the lights on. Help us keep making videos for you. Thank everybody who's already done that. Oh, and also, if you don't mind, click on one of these videos that are popping up right around here. You might find something else you'll like. There's some good stuff happening around here. Hate for you to miss it. Thank everybody who's already done that, and to everyone, all of the true believers, thank you very, very much for watching.